Hi, everybody. Oh, I hope my arms weren't jiggling too much. We're going to talk about the Dungeon Anarchist Cookbook by Matt Dinniman. This is the third in the Dungeon Crawler series, and it was published in 2021. I just finished this book a couple days ago, so I'm going to hope I can remember everything. Pretty long book. It's pretty long. It was not what I thought it was going to be. The Anarchist Cookbook was not at all what I thought it was going to be. So Dungeon, Carl and Donut are now on the fourth floor. I was going to say third, but they're on the fourth floor. And in the fourth floor, it is nothing but a big fat tangle of trains. I almost said trees. Like trees? No, trains. And the trains are all over the place. They've got trains like on top of trains. Like there's a floor with a train, another train. Why can't I can't think of the word. Train track, right? And then another one underneath it, another one underneath it, and then they're all going in squiggly different ways. And there are multiple train stations with the same number. So it depends on which line you're on. So there are named lines, and then there are numbered lines and colored lines, it seems like. Actually, they all have numbers, but they also have some colors. They also have some that are named like, I just lost the word. The train is the Nightmare Express. And there are others that have very, very doom and gloom kind of names. They mean exactly what they say. And you have to figure out, depending on what level of this floor, train track you're on, so that you can figure out where the stairwells are so that you can get to the next stairwell in time. The game has a limit on how early you can get to the stairwell. Come on, we can talk, we can speak. So they've got to get to the stairwell within 6 hours of of the floor collapse. So the floor will collapse, and that's what happens above them. I think I mentioned that in the last couple of videos. And once you complete the floor, you get down to the stairwell, enter through the stairwell, and the floor collapses. And all the non-playing characters who were on those previous floors are basically reset. So if they had some kind of a role to play up there, they're basically reset, waiting for the next game, or moving to the next floor with the actual crawlers themselves, with the players. And there are a bunch of monsters on this one too, ghouls, or not necessarily ghouls, but like goblins and stuff like that. And they have like a monster generator. So in some areas there are these systems that just generate monster after monster. The corporation that's in charge of the games have these monsters hooked to some kind of drug, and that's what keeps them doing what they're supposed to be doing. But then if they are off the drug for too long, they get into the detox, and they have 3 levels of detox. So 1, 2, and 3. So are they DT1, 2, or 3? And they get progressively worse as far as their monsterhood goes. They get really scary the further into the detox process they go. And there are lots of them running around that have not had their refill of whatever drug that this company is feeding them. And of course, Carl and company have to deal with it. And there's a lot of stuff that starts getting a little anarchist in this, if you will, because Carl is like, I'm not putting up with this crap anymore. He's only on the 4th floor. There's like, 14 more floors to go if you want to beat the game. And he decides, I know I can't save everybody, but I can do my best to get them where I need them to be. So that's what he's trying to do, is get them where they need to be, sending the hints to all the teams. So he's collecting information about all of the train stations that they're dealing with, and all the train the train lines that they're they're encountering while they're here in this space, and he's sending that information back to other players. So I don't know if I mentioned this in the first book review that I did, Dungeon Crawler Carl, but there are like a message board or like a chat feature within their whatever they've implanted into their brains where they can chat with each other, and you have to friend them and then you can chat with them. And so that's what he's doing. Is he in Dungeon Crawler Carl, he did the same thing. Excuse me. He chatted with other members, but he didn't realize you could have like large groups of people that you can chat with. And by the time he gets to level 4, he's like, yeah, we need to chat with everybody that we can. And he runs into some of the people that he saw on floors 1 and 2. And he sees the characters and the avatars that they've chosen to represent them. Some of them are like fairies with special powers. Some of them are like they can change their physical appearance to be something that's like half or non-organic properties and half organic or more. They can increase their weight. They can become anything that they want. And one of the characters that joined up with Carl on this floor has done exactly that. So she can basically become anything. She can control her body and look like anything, become anything. At one point, she becomes the cattle guard that's in front of a train. So you know how some trains have like a guard in the front, and some of them are like really big and scooped, and the purpose of that is to get things out of the way. And she can do that. So they end up getting on a train that doesn't have a substantial one, and she turns into the cattle guard so she can scoop things out of the way or whatever so the train can keep moving. And there are subway trains on here. On this floor, there are steam engines that have a fire in them that have to keep going. They found train depots where all the trains go at the end of whatever their run is for that circle or whatever circuit that they're making. They can go into a train, not a train station where you pick up passengers, but like the depot where the trains go in for repair and come back out again. And then there are certain stations that are for the crawlers to go to to go get some rest, to a safe room. And the safe room is a place where nothing can happen to them. Nobody can go in there and hurt them. If somebody else, another crawler or another entity on the floor is in there with them and tries to hurt them, they go into like a timeout. And let me see what else. I'm trying to think of what else. I'm looking at the cover of the book like, what else? I just got off of work, so my brain is still thinking about work, but I'm like, I got to do this video because this book has to go back to the library. So Carl and Donut are still together. Of course, Donut has a pet. The pet's name is Mongo, and he's like a dinosaur that looks like a chicken kind of, and he's getting really big. And he belongs to, or he's the pet of Donut. So in the last video I did, what was the name of that one? Let me think. Hang on, I'm getting to it. They've got a list of books in here, and I just can't remember what it was. So Carl's Doomsday Scenario, in that video, I mentioned that Donut has a pet, but I didn't tell you a whole lot about him. We really, he is a very integral part of the team. I don't know what's going to happen to him when the game is over. Like, I don't know what happens to anybody when they get to the 18th floor. It seems like some people do, but I don't know what happens to them. The story so far doesn't really explain what happens to people or anybody that gets to the 18th floor and wins this whole thing. So I'm really worried that Mongo's not going to get to stay with Donut. And I don't know, maybe that's the best thing for him. Maybe he couldn't survive in whatever new world if that's what happens at the end. But I enjoyed this book. This was a good story. It kept you looking at all the trains. You're like, can I see a map? But it's so complicated that having a map isn't really going to help you. You know, there is an insert of a map in here later on in the back because you need to understand a little bit of that to finish out the story. But I'm really worried for these characters. I'm like, what's gonna happen to them? Oh gosh, please don't let anything happen to, Carl and Donut and Mongo. I'm just like, please don't. Have them survive the whole thing. So book 8 isn't out now, so I guess that covers the 8th floor. And I'm a little bit behind, and these are so popular that my library, they only have a limited number of copies available, and I always end up being like number 20, number 22 on the waiting list. And it took me like 3 weeks to get this book because I had to wait for my turn, which is fine. It was worth the wait. If you can't wait, you can purchase these books. I believe some places have them for sale as a set. I'm not sure if book number 8 is part of this set or not. Inside the book, it does list the stories. So in order, plus the other books that Mr. Dinniman has written. And I've heard rumors that they're going to turn the Dungeon Crawler series into, I think, a TV show, like a streaming TV show. And I think they're doing a tabletop game. If I can find that information, I'll put that down in the description, along with everything else you need to know about where you can find this book, learn about Matt Dinniman and his other works and all that kind of stuff down in the description. Go to your library, see if they have it. Maybe they have a shorter waiting list than they do where I'm at. Check it out there. If you can't wait, like I said, go buy it somewhere. You might be able to even find it on eBay, but be careful with that because the book is so popular. eBay prices may be outrageous. What else? Be kind to yourself. Be kind to each other. We all go through things and we go through them differently. There's no reason to be mean or rude. As always, let me know what you're reading down in the comments. Did you read this book? If you did, tell me your thoughts. Is there something you would like me to read? Is there a book that I've already reviewed that you would like me to go a little bit deeper in? I can perhaps do that. Maybe under a series that I include on my channel. I haven't started that yet. I'm waiting on feedback from people like you, and I appreciate y'all being here and watching. Thank you so much. It means the world to me. Tell your friends, subscribe, like if you want to. If not, just viewing it is great. I really appreciate y'all taking time out of your day. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye.